I'm going to install the J&L Oil Separator for my 2024 Bronco Heritage with the 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. Now my car has about 1,000 miles on it, and to talk about an oil separator and why you might want one for your Bronco is the 2.3 liter is a direct injected engine, meaning there's no fuel that goes through the typical intake track system from an intake manifold into the intake port. The fuel is directly injected into the cylinder of the engine. So why that's important is with a typical arrangement where fuel is brought into the engine through an intake manifold, the vaporized fuel flows over the intake valve, which helps clean the intake valve. In a direct injected engine, the only thing that flows over the intake valve is air. And in these engines, and actually any engine, United States, built in the United States since 1967, they use a PCV valve, which takes the oil vapor from the combustion process and it's brought back into the intake manifold and then burned in the combustion cycle. But with the 2.3 liter with direct injection, that oil flows over the intake valve, and over a period of time it builds up on the intake valve. And since there's no fuel flowing over the valve, there's nothing to clean the valve. So using an oil separator will help keep the oil out of the intake system. With the oil separator, there are no paper instructions. What they want you to do is use your cell phone, use this QR code that will open up a website, and you can read the instructions from there, but there are no instructions included in the kit. What is included in the kit is a mounting bracket, a small screw, a bolt, and the oil separator. And the lines are already attached to the oil separator. What we want to do is disconnect the PVC line right here. And in order to do that, just press up here, and you can watch that expand, and just pull it off. And I've taken the fitting and I've turned it so the fitting is pointing towards the driver's side fender. All right, now I'm going to install the bracket for the oil separator. And what you're going to need to do that is a ratchet and a 13mm socket. I want to check and make sure that's square. And tighten it up. Now you see the oil separator has two different ends. This end will attach to the engine where we removed the original hose, and this end will attach to the original hose. So what I'm going to do is this end of the hose here, I'm going to route underneath the master cylinder. So now I'll just take and tighten up two Phillips head machine screws with a Phillips screwdriver. Now take this end of the oil separator hose and connect it to the original fitting. To connect the hose, just press down on this white button here. Just slide the hose in and then just let go of the button. And it's connected. That's a little bit of a loose fit, but it's not coming off. And now connect this end to the original fitting on the engine. Now you can rotate this fitting here to get the best angle. Then just simply press it on and push in the yellow clip. And that's it. It's installed. I believe the capacity of the oil separator is 3 ounces. And you may capture as much as an ounce of oil every 1,000 miles. You may want to keep that in mind, that after every 1,000 or 2,000 miles, you might want to check the reservoir and see if you need to empty it. For me personally, installing an oil separator on a direct injected engine, I think is a pretty good idea. For the cost of an oil separator, and if you're going to own your vehicle for the long term, I think it could potentially save you some grief down the road. All right, I think that's it. I hope you found the video useful in determining whether or not you want to add an oil separator to your 2.3 liter Bronco. For me personally, I think for the cost, it gives me a little bit of peace of mind. And if I'm going to own the car long term, it may prevent some expensive maintenance in the future. So I hope you found the video useful, and thanks for watching.